All right.
There you go. Good job.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Hey, as Vice President of Race Operations and the man with a long title that's too long, I'm going to call this meeting to order. So I've got 2 parts tonight. One is a review and looking forward. Just go one race at a time, real briefly, kind of thing. And then I've got a whole bunch of little items, couple of minutes each, just to let you know what's going on and update on stuff. So, start by saying thank you all for doing this. We have just one more event left, Turkey Trot. All our other events have happened at this point, and it's overall gone well. I think, looks money-wise, we'll at the very least break even with the races we've had. And I think one of the big things is just rebuilding the momentum, to get people, first, I think, post-pandemic and post-turbulence and all that, and just kind of establish that, the ORRC community is still here and we're still vibrant. And anybody who went to Best Damn Run yesterday, I think, saw that. So many familiar faces, and standing there in the square, and people were eating and drinking and all sweaty and telling stories, and it was just, at the heart of what ORRC's all about, that sense of community, that sense of, we're all in this together. And financially, like I said, we're lucky. I think we broke even, but I think the more important thing is we've got, put ourselves out there, and runners are responding. So I think thank you all for all of your hard work in doing all this. So what I want to do next year is just look at our calendar, and not all the race directors are here, so some we may not get all of them, but we'll get as many as we can. And if you are, well, first I'm going to take it one race at a time. Ask that you confirm who the RDs are for that event for next year, for 2025, and then take a few minutes, not too long, like maybe up to 5 minutes per race. Less is fine, but no more than 5 minutes, to look at your race for this year and what worked, what didn't work, and what you will do differently for next year to make it better, or mistakes you made that you learned from. So all of your race directors kind of give that a little bit of thought, because you will get a turn to look at 2024 and look ahead at 2025, what you want to do differently or keep doing if you've been doing it right. Acknowledging that for some of you, you've done these races many times, it's quite familiar. Others, it was your very first year doing it, and jumped right in and learned how to do it. So I'll go first, since that's first run, Ralph's Run. This year we changed the name from Y2K to Ralph's Run in honor of Ralph. Went back to the old format of the funny distance that changes every year. So next year it'll be 20.25 kilometers. And overall went well. The numbers are down a little bit, but a lot of that is weather dependent. But it was otherwise a solid event in terms of logistics and the food and all that. The race, what will change for next year, one, like I said, will be the distance of the long one. So I'll have a 5K, a 10K, a kids run, and then also the long run will be 20.25 kilometers. I've also got a crazy idea. That I'm going to talk about later if there's time, because I'm always looking for something new, and today was inspired for something really crazy, but I'm going to save it for later if there's time. One last little bit about Ralph's Run. If you do it 3 years in a row, you'll have a complete set of Ralph's Run clothing. 2024, we gave out beanies. 2025, it's going to be mittens. And then in 2026, we're going to give out a Ralph's Run scarf. So if you do it each year, by the end of it, you'll just be all toasty warm and, covered in Ralph or something.
Is that all you wear in the run? It was a little exposed.
Oh, that's another idea. Oh man, don't get me started. Okay. Oh, one other thing too is as far as race director, obviously I'm the race director again of Ralph's Run. Carrie's going to come on and help me with that, is take over the role that Bonnie had, because Bonnie and I co-RD'd it, and since Bonnie's leaving, Carrie has stepped forward to help me with Ralph's Run. Moving on, Hagg Mud. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's been few changes in the last week or so with Ralph's Run. Excuse me, with Hagg Mud. But at this point, Mark Freeze, Deb Brown, and I'm blanking on the third name.
Susie.
See your face.
Susie Curtis.
Susie Curtis. So, anyone care to speak about either how things went this year or plans for next year?
I can speak about this year since Ryan and I had a chance to co-RD it. Deb, nice to meet you. I'm not sure if we've met before, but thank you for meeting with Susie and some of the other folks today. I can maybe just speak to last year.
You met me at the dam. I was the dam captain on Saturday. So I saw you a couple times with your speaker.
Yes. Thank you, Deb, for that reminder. And thank you for your help that day. I think we had a relatively successful event in large part thanks to the ORRC leadership, right, and Mark's experience to help a couple of newbie RDs and Ryan Bordeaux and myself in making an effort to support Hagg Mud in a thoughtful way. I think we managed the 2 days relatively well. It was certainly a challenge having not RD before, but certainly I recognize maybe the burden of Saturday, Sunday, but we were able to put on those two events well. I do think, and I haven't had this conversation with Deb or Susie. I know Mark had even talked about maybe looking at the course. We got an out and back that's pretty significant. Are there ways that we could maybe modify that out and back a little bit? I wasn't party to the conversations around a single day, but I can see the benefit of that. And so I don't necessarily need to relitigate that, but I think I'll let maybe Deb speak to that, or the conversations that led to have it be a single day event instead of two. I can see some real benefit around that in the kind of density of athletes that would come for the two different distances on the same day would provide lots of energy there, which would be exciting. Certainly a full, again, not having done RD work before, a full setup, on a Saturday morning early, what amounted to like a close to a full takedown Saturday night, a reset up Sunday morning, and then a full takedown Sunday night. Felt like pretty significant ask of volunteers and folks to implement that all in one weekend, to do that twice. If there was a way to kind of keep everything standing without the risk of things disappearing or getting rained on or things like that, that would be easier. But I think there's good sense in a single day event if we can, if that still feels right to anyone. So anyway, I felt like it was a positive. I don't have enough history to kind of compare it. I think we were down in numbers a little bit. Yeah. Financial, I think we were okay. But that was kind of my perception. Ryan did more work than I did for sure, and so we sad to lose him. But I hope with Deb and Susie's support, we can make a show of it this year. But anyway, that's a little bit my perspective from last year. But happy to. Sure. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
I was going to say, Deb, you want to talk about next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I guess I had at least one meeting with Ryan where we kind of talked about whether to do 1 day or 2 days, and he sent out a survey to the to prior participants to see how it would affect people registering. The history of it being 2 days is that apparently it was started when Todd Jansen was the race director. And they had a lot of support from, I think it was Lucky Lab that did the growlers. And so that was somewhat of a draw for people, but that connection of being able to get the growlers for a Lucky Lab had, had a through line with that friendship with Todd and then to Karen. And so that was kind of, had already come to an end by the time Ryan and Mark had taken over. So, yeah, I mean, I just know for for being a volunteer non-paid race director, it's a lot of work in a place that's accessible to the equipment being messed with. It's another thing if you're out on the PCT somewhere where you can sort of pile things together and sort of like leave it all there and it's on the side of a trail somewhere. But yeah, it's a lot to put it up and take it down when you're probably asking the same volunteers to do it 2 days in a row. And our numbers were down, and it was probably some PR issues, some not being able to have enough marketing. And so, yeah, and in our meeting we had just the other day with Tracy, I don't remember, Julie, if you were there, and Mark and Susie, and Nikki was on for a little while before she had to resign. But we talked about not changing the course. Like, let's not make any other changes besides it being one day. It just doesn't, it does not make sense. And personally, having run both the 25K and the 50K, I don't mind the part on up and down on the road. I think it's actually a lot of fun. It lets people spread out. I would not be in favor as a runner of making people funnel into the trail because it's enough of a conga line as it is when there's a lot of people running it. And I honestly think that the dirt road is worth the benefit of having to cross people. So, but now that we've lost Nikki, we have to gather back together, especially I think Mark Freese, myself and Susie, to break down who's going to do what, because I don't really have a sense, Mark, from you what kind of stuff ahead of time you want to do. So that's kind of our thing on our plate, and we need to get permits.
Yeah. Well, so a couple things on that. I've already started to gather the paperwork for the permits, and I've met with, there's a new person out at Hagg Lake. Her name is Tiffany, and she's doing permits. I've already met her in person, give her a heads up on what's coming. And so I will take on doing permits, but I will at some point, once we have another meeting to decide, walk someone through what I did so they can do it themselves next year.
Thank you.
But you make a good point that it's sometime in the near future, and sooner rather than later, for Deb, Susie, and for Mark Freese and me too, to be in all that discussion, to sit down and say, okay, who's going to do what, and sort that out. But we will do that, in good time.
Thanks,
Moving
Rob.
on, Champoeg. Mark, you want to give us a look at Champoeg this year and any changes for next year?
Yeah, Valerie's not on, but the numbers for Champoeg for this year, I think, was higher than the previous year. So that's a good thing. And I want to thank you and Hal for helping out. You were like our super volunteers for parking and everything. So parking is always going to be an issue. We couldn't use the overflow lot due to weather because it actually snowed during the race. But we were able to park some cars on the side of the road. And the Rangers were okay with that. So we didn't have to use anything else. So I think parking went okay. Pretty much everybody went in, and then when the race was over, they funneled out. I think the food, just keeping it simple with the tomato and chicken noodle, was fine. We had plenty of food for everyone. So
you had the medical emergency, and I think you all
Carol
together handled that quite
fainted.
well.
Yeah, we had to take her, but she's okay. Just met with her a couple weeks ago, so she's doing fine. I think the other thing is, for this year, we may change because we gave out beanies last year. I'm not sure what we're going to do this year. I got to get together with Valerie because we may change the logo too. It'll still be the carrot guy, but it might be looking a little bit different. So other than that, I think we're going to keep a lot of it the same. You know, the course was just the loop one, just do the 10, 20, 30. I don't know, based on your things, any feedback from you and Hell?
No, I think it was, I think the only issue, as you already mentioned, is the parking. Because for some people, it
Mhm.
was people who arrived late had a pretty long walk before they started running, and not
Mhm.
everybody's happy with that. So I would, suggest, I don't know, looking at some kind of shuttle system to shuttle people from the far parking lot to a near parking lot, something like
That
that. To
that's what
check
we're,
into that,
yeah,
but
because we can shuttle people with a van if
okay,
we do the other parking lot, but the other parking lot's like a mile and a half down. So yeah, if they park
exactly.
there.
But I'm saying, knowing that it is that far, look into, rent, see what you can do, whether it's a bus or a couple of
Mhm.
passenger vans or whatever. But I would suggest look into that, because other than the parking,
Yep.
I think it was well run. It went
And
really smooth.
and depending on the weather too, because we could
Yeah.
do that, but if the weather's okay, then we could do the overflow.
I was gonna say, you're
Mhm.
having it 2 weeks later, so it might be a better
Mhm.
chance of having not so wet weather.
Yeah, maybe not snow. But
Yeah.
so
Okay,
we had
good.
sun, over the years we had sun, rain, snow. Actually that day we had all three, so
Yep, kind of everything weather.
yep.
Moving along, Vernonia is my baby, and this year went well. We added the marathon relay this year, and that was well received. And so, looking ahead to next year, Vernonia, I don't foresee any major changes. It's a pretty solid run. It's been around a while. People know what to expect, and they'll just keep on giving it. A good nice course and feed them and afterwards and the whole bit. So I don't see any major changes coming for Vernonia. To continue giving optional shirt, everybody gets socks, and I am for that race going to continue to give finisher medals. In general, my attitude is to not do finisher medals. I think people are better off getting something practical as opposed to another medal. But for Vernonia, I think in particular, it's, for that, I will be keeping the finisher medals just for that particular event. Hagg Road, same distances next year, 5K, 10K once they're on the lake. This year the gimme was drinking glasses. I'm looking at some hats of some sort for the gimme for Hagg Road next year. Optional shirt, but everybody would get a hat, and I'm looking at different designs and different colors to figure out what exactly that is. But
Hey, Mark, you should think about like, this is what I got at Waldo this year.
yeah,
It was really nice. Last year they gave me a beanie, and then this
Yeah.
year they gave a sun hat. And I feel like
Yeah.
if it's a summery spring race, like a sun hat would be awesome. Then it advertises
exactly.
your event too.
Well,
People will wear it.
totally. Well, actually, I'm looking at two designs. One is similar to what you showed me, a runner's hat, the the holes, a breathable runner's hat.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at a similar design, but with a bucket hat as a possible design. So, but I'm in agreement. I want to get it's a spring summer event. Let's give people a nice hat to give them some shade and all that kind of stuff. So that's change coming up for next year. But other than that, it's a nice low key. It's a low key but a fun race. I'm gonna keep it that way. Moving on. Solstice Run. Randy, you want to talk about that? Well, no, it's
Randy,
different Randy. Sorry, different Randy. I got my brain somewhere else. Randy's not here. Sorry,
I
remember.
can say what we're doing with that one. Randy
Okay,
and
sure.
Justin are taking that over, and they're moving it to a Saturday morning, and so
Now,
it'll actually fall on the solstice. So it's Randy Fujioka and Justin
Yeah.
Thibault. So they're going to do it.
Who?
Justin Thibault, Justin, and last name is Tibeault. So he's gonna
Okay.
join Randy. Randy was co-RD with Daniel this year, so he kind of learned the ropes. He's gonna take the lead there. But we're hoping
Okay.
with Saturday morning that it will be easier for people to get there instead of trying to get there after work. And then it'll actually fall on the solstice, perchance this year on the 21st.
Cool. All right. Duel. Is Susie here?
She is not, but Daniel passed the baton to Susie, and so she's taking it on next year. And no changes. I think they're going to stay at Gable and
Yeah.
So.
And she will, after having helped with Hagg Mud, she'll have some good experience under her belt to help her be successful with that one.
Yeah.
And as always, I say this to everybody, and I totally mean it. If you have any questions, you don't understand something, need help, contact Tracy, contact me, because I was just talking to Carrie about this today. One of the beauties of the club is that if you're good at something, you do it. But if you're not good at something, within ORRC somewhere, there's somebody who is good at that thing, and we'll get you the help you need. You know, you're never alone. I mean, I think that's one of the beauties of this club. Pumpkin Ridge. Carrie, you want to talk about that? Or Hal, or both of you? Oh, Hal, why don't you talk about this year, and Carrie talk about next year? Or both of you talk.
Hal, we can't hear you.
Hal, you there?
Okay,
Here we go.
I'm here.
All right.
This year,
How did Pumpkin Ridge go this year?
we had an email from the Garlic Festival that we could no longer use anything associated with them. So we had to change the name, we had to change the venue.
Mm-hmm.
The venue is now the North Plains Elementary School. It worked out very well. The participation this year was about half of what it was last year, but I think we still made money, which is a good thing. The course had to change because of construction in North Plains, but we have a course set from the elementary school. It'll work for next year. Next year, we want to rent not just the field that we use for parking, but also the basketball court that we can lock up and put things in the night before and set up under shade for registration for food and etc. And being able to use the parking lot at the school, being able to do the registration, the start and everything at the school, and not having to change the course for next year. I think next year is going to be a very good event.
Cool.
Do
Carrie,
we
anything you
know
wanna
why
add to
the
that?
registration numbers were down? Was it just confusion over the dates?
No, I think the registration was down because last year, Garlic Festival was the first run after the old board quit, and everybody came out in support of ORRC. So that was my feeling for what happened last year.
I think
And
also
this-
how that the porta potties didn't show last year, and so I think a
Oh.
lot of people who were there last year said, "I'm not going to go back to that event."
Yeah,
Yeah.
the porta last year was a fiasco. This year, the porta potty showed, the food was there, the venue was good, everything worked out for the most part very good. Eric did a great job of helping get everything set up. So I understand though that he is not going to be helping this next year.
No, he said he would still do it.
Okay.
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 Cool. Well, yeah, I think that's it. You know, like you said, Hal, 2023 was a fiasco.
Yes.
2024 we got it right. And I think what will bring people back is getting it right. And then by word of
Yes.
mouth, people go, no, it was, it's awesome, new course, blah, blah, blah. So
Yep.
I think that's definitely doable. Next one, it's the best damn run. Gosh, it was seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah. It was.
And it just went well. I mean, the numbers are up a little bit from last year, and logistically the race worked, and the post race thing, there was food, there was drink, sweaty people standing around telling stories. It was just, I think it just worked. And the next year, well, that's the interesting part, because we were advertising this as the last time we're going to have the best damn run, and many people came up to me and said, "Hey, what's going on? Why are we canceling it? Or why are we going to have it next year?" And I cut to the chase and said, "We need a race director. We need or a couple of race directors to make it happen. That's the only reason, is we don't have someone to be in charge of it." And two things on that front. One is, I think more people have gained an appreciation for what it takes to have a race. They don't just magically happen. When you say, "Hey, we had a lot of volunteers yesterday. It was great." But it takes more than people showing up just the day of. It's all the prep work that we all know. So I think some people gain an appreciation of that. The second part is that Bonnie, I forget her name, but Bonnie was talking to someone who is both a runner and someone who lives in Estacada, who said, "Boy, I don't want to see this race go away." So Bonnie has started a conversation with this woman to, see what could happen, and, again, this is not, it would be a board decision, but honestly, I don't think it's too late that if we can find a couple of people to co-RD the best damn run, that we could put it back on the calendar for next year, with enough advance notice. I think we could do that.
The lady that Bonnie was talking to,
yeah,
lives in Estacada, had 10 people there yesterday. Last year she had 20 people there. They have a health club in Estacada, and she is an instructor at the club, and she gets all the club people to come out. So she would be good.
If she wants to get, come on board, I have no problem adding it back to the calendar. I mean, we want at least 2 people, and we want that commitment, and they need to know what they're getting into. So
yeah, but
Yes.
if we get this woman and find a co-RD for her, I think we can. It's not too late to bring it back, because I just heard just people like, "Oh, I'm so sad to see it go. I love this race." So, I think it's back on the table. Nothing decided officially yet, but I think it's back on the table for next year.
it will be too late to become a calendar magnet, but
Well, not yet. We haven't ordered it yet.
oh,
Then we'll just come up with a little
That
sticker.
darn magnet.
yeah.
That darn magnet.
So,
So is there a way to get in touch with them and say, please be in touch with Mark Barrett and Tracy ASAP?
I don't. I know Bonnie talked to her. I think the next step is I'll contact Bonnie and have her get me a phone number, an email, or something, and I'll continue the conversation with her.
Was there an issue though with getting permits, or did I misunderstand that as far as the fires?
It's PGE, because most of the course is on Faraday Road, which is a closed road and PGE property. And this year and last year, there's 2 gates. Well, there's 3. There's 2 gates that are usually locked. And in years past, we've gotten permission to have those gates unlocked, which makes the logistics either setting up aid stations, mile markers, the whole bit. And with those gates locked, we can still do it, but we rent a gator. We have a gator guy. Val's husband, Ken, is the gator guy who does the same thing, but it would be much easier if those gates were open. And so we did have
also PGE said that because of the fire danger, they were highly recommending that we move the date of the event, which
then the question is when to move it to, because
exactly.
There's no month free except December and September.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
very tricky.
Yeah.
Spring's
So is
pretty
Val
cold.
coming
and
off
so-
of, is Val not wanting to race direct that one
I
again?
won't do it. No, and Bonnie's leaving, so they're both gone.
Yeah, Bonnie's moving. Bonnie's moving out of state, and Val, she does Champoeg already, and that's, you know, she's busy running the government. She's running for re-election, as you know. But anyway, so speaking of races that are coming back, autumn leaves. We lost Nikki. Deb, you're still in on autumn leaves. Did we? I'm sorry, we had a number of discussions. Tracy, Deb, have we gotten anyone else to step up for autumn leaves?
Margie said she can be a helper, right? And you said Joel
Phillips is going to come on as co-RD.
Oh, he will? Okay.
He said,
Oh, cool.
I got the nicest message yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
An old friend from this coaching group I used to be in sent me like a Facebook messenger that said, a little birdie told me that you might be bringing back autumn leaves. I hope it's true because that is such a great race. And it made me feel really good.
Well, cool.
And I was like, how did you hear that? And he said, oh, I heard it from this person. Then I realized, oh, I'd posted something on Facebook I advertised the race RD workshop. And I said, because I'm going to be an RD next year. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have spoken so soon, but hey, if you get some positive vibes from people, then it's a little bit motivating.
Yeah.
Yes. So Deb, we just want to briefly give us your vision for what autumn leaves looks like, distances and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's been
so I really like it at Champoeg. I know that there has been some talk of putting it at Hagg, but I just like the fact that it's a really good beginner ultra for people who are stepping up into those distances, especially if they tend to be road runners. I think it's really friendly to people who've just, done a marathon in the summer and they just want to try a 50K. I like the idea of having 30K and 50K, and I'm not sure about the 50 miler. I'm open to influence. I know people do the 50 miler, but it's a smaller number of people. So I would be open to it and just having some pretty clear cutoffs so that we're not making the volunteers stay out there forever for the last 50 miler finish. And the date is October 18th, so it's a smidge earlier. It's not quite as close to Halloween, but maybe the weather will be better. Who knows? I think that in the last couple of years the race was done, they at least in the last year, they had done away with the special porta potty, designated porta potty. It was too much. And I think in one case, maybe someone didn't even do the race that had been awarded the porta potty. So it was kind of a waste, but I think costumes could be encouraged. That's always fun to encourage costumes and to have kind of Halloween themed food at the aid stations. But Valerie also said that she really thinks that Champoeg is just a really great location. So I feel like kind of keeping it like that would be my ideal.
Cool.
And then have different start times for, if there's a 50 miler that would start pretty early. That's usually you're usually running the first hour in the dark, even for the 50K. So the 50 miler, they're usually doing 2 loops in the dark if they're running about 1 hour loops. So that's usually 2 hours in the dark, 1 hour in the dark for the 50K, and then the 30K could start an hour after the 50K.
Sure. Cool. Well, Deb, ultimately, you and Joel are the RDs. You are, by all means, seek input from the others, but in the end, it'll be yours and Joel's decision about what exactly to do. I mean, we like to give, autonomy to the RDs, and, you ask for opinions and comments, you'll get it. And in the end,
I should show you
in the end, it will be your decision.
Don't fall down. I have my finisher glass. Getting it out. I have my finisher glass from this. It was my first ORRC race. It was my gateway race.
Yeah.
So autumn leaves, but I also got it's blurry. Sorry. It is the autumn leaves glass. I also got second prize winning in the 50K.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? And I was like, I have to do more small races because the chance of getting a prize is a lot higher.
All right. Cool. All right. And looking ahead, Turkey Trot. There's we've talked about that a lot at the last meeting, but briefly, it's coming up. It's on Thanksgiving, of course. We've shortened the distance to a 5K instead of 4 miles, so there's no aid station this year. We've capped it at 2,500, and everybody, all the kids, all the volunteers, all the participants will get a beanie. So I think we did quite well last year, and I think it will be a success again this year. And setting that cap, we know for sure that how much to plan for food and all that kind of stuff. So no finisher medals. We're going with the chocolate turkeys for the turkey trot. So that is a look at the calendar. Any questions or additional comments about all that? Looking at this year, looking at next year? If not, we'll move on. So I've got a whole bunch of just kind of little things here and there. Some things that you may or may not have heard if you've been attending the board meetings, or following up by watching the video or something, or not. But just so some of these things, some of you may already know, but if not, I'm going to say them just so everybody knows. So first bit is the board decided that no more tiered pricing. Sometimes races have like an early registration, it'll be lower to encourage people to register sooner, kind of thing. And it decided, let's keep it simple. Turkey trot is a special creature and will continue to have tiered pricing. But all of the races, we're just not going to do it. There will be a ORRC member fee price, and there'll be a non-ORRC member price. That will still be that difference. And then also day of race, the cost should go up. But otherwise, that just say what the fee is, and no tiered pricing. Next, the board needs to plan for next year for their budget. To do that, they need race budget. So each race needs to submit a budget for the race for 2025. So if you want to contact Debbie, if you want to get a report, income and expense report, to help you plan for next year, just email her, request that, she will send it to you. The deadline to submit your budget is October 31st, to help the board plan for 2025. And a couple things to keep in mind is because Adnan did a study, and about 20% of race participants use some kind of a comp. Like they volunteered for a race, and they got $50 off their next race, kind of a thing. And or we give away like free entries for raffles and that sort of thing. And so anyhow, but in terms of something to keep in mind is that while you're planning your budget, figure that 15 to 20% of your participants are going to get in for free, in terms of estimating what your profit will be. So keep that in mind when you're making your budget figures. For those races that have multiple RDs, y'all should talk to each other and decide which one of you will be doing the budget. Because if nobody's in charge, if everybody's in charge, nobody's in charge. So if you have multiple RDs, pick one. Decide which one of you will do that to submit the budget. Next, volunteer recruiting. Carrie and I met. Carrie, of course, is our volunteer coordinator, and I met with her today to give her some tips and some information, from my experiences recruiting volunteers for my events. And I won't go too far in the weeds on that, because Carrie will follow through on this. But the one big thing I emphasize with her, and I want to emphasize with all of you as race directors, one of the keys to getting volunteer groups is about relationships. I live in Forest Grove, so I personally know the cross-country coach at Forest Grove High School. So I can call or email Adrian and say, hey, can you give me some volunteers for Ralph's Run and so on. And I know the track coach up at Vernonia High School. and he provides volunteers for the marathon. And year to year, that's the best way to get and to keep groups, is have those good relationships. You know, so you make your contacts early, you know, call up the school, you know, contact the athletic director. And how can I say, well, like yesterday was a great example. Best damn run. We had some terrific volunteers, and they were from the Estacada High School boys and girls soccer team. You know, they did the aid stations, they did the finish line food, and they did an awesome job. And that was because Bonnie made a cold call to the high school, and they were interested. And, you know, should this race continue, definitely we will be calling those same groups back to come help again. But that's, you know, that's the way to do it. You know, wherever your race is, if it is conveniently somewhere near a particular high school or in a particular city, you know, contact the athletic director at the high school and get out the word. Say, hey, we're looking for volunteers who make a donation to your group, and establish and build on those relationships, you know, and that's a key part of it. Recruiting volunteers, start early, make those, you know, get to know people. And the other big part, of course, is to thank them. Carrie, you want to talk a little bit from our conversation about thank yous?
Yeah, Mark was mentioning about, you know, doing thank you cards or some type of communication out to the volunteers. Currently, there is a discount code that is sent at, you know, post meeting. So right now I'm working on the Best Damn Run volunteer codes. But one of the things that Mark and I talked about was potentially, because a lot of the volunteers are consistent from one event to the other. So maybe rather than doing a personalized thank you card after each race, do a year-end wrap up where, you know, and I'm happy to take that on, write a personal thank you and you know, point out some of the races that person participated in and thank them and let them know what the impact was to the organization. So I'm going to look at how to integrate that into the process. But I thought that was a good suggestion from Mark. He also gave me some information about, you know, different tips on recruiting volunteers in your local area. I had mentioned, Mark, that I'm currently trying to get in touch with some of the schools and find, you know, who are the current contacts. We just had a big group from Century High School that has about 15 volunteers that they signed up for the turkey trot. We're hoping to get some others. I had actually reached out to Century High School, and I don't know if it was a coincidence that they ended up wanting to sign up, or if it was a result of the reach out because it was a different person.
Which group was it?
Say that again.
Which group was it? Do you remember? Was it the Key Club?
Century High School.
But do you remember which group at the high school?
No, I don't. I'm not sure.
In the past, I've gotten, like I said, Rochelle is with this health and sciences program that they've helped. Also, some years I've gotten the Key Club at Century High School has provided volunteers too. So I know I worked with those two groups before. It might be the same. It might be a new one, which is good.
Well, and what I would be happy to do with this group is as I go in and make some of those phone calls, because I am going through the list and trying to get current information, I can certainly share that with the race directors and maybe be a little bit more involved in trying to help recruit some of those groups for some of the different races throughout the year. So
yeah. And one little note too, as I mentioned to Carrie, is that because coaches change year to year, and the best, because you might have an email for a coach who's retired or whatever kind of thing. So the OSAA, which, you know, they check out their website. They have a listing of all the current athletic directors, coaches for every sport at every high school in Oregon. So just go to the OSAA website and you can get a current information from there year to year.
Right. So
next, I sent out one thing already.
I think Deb had a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was thinking it would be a great PR thing if, you know, when Tracy and Julia have a little wrap up of what happened with the race, if we said how many volunteers volunteered at each event, I think it would be really great PR. And if there are any large groups that did volunteer, like thank you to Estacada, you know, soccer teams or whatever, like if we put that plug in there, but it would also really highlight how many volunteers on the ground you really need on race day, which might raise awareness of our members, like how much work is being put in.
Yeah.
We'll definitely add that to the results letter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Next, goo order. We ran low on, or we were short on goo before Best Time Run, so Bonnie just went on and ordered it from Amazon. We do have a deal. We can buy goo directly from the goo people, and get it at a discount. I will, we won't be getting it for Turkey Trot because there's no aid station, but I will be ordering goo for Ralph's Run, and I will intentionally over order. So, maybe get enough for, Hagg Mud as well. So you Hagg Mud RDs, you want to give me an idea of how much I should order, then I can just get one big order. But that throughout the year, any RDs, if like about a month or so before your event, go to the ORRC storage and see how much. Well, you should do this anyway, because just to be sure everything is there and in good condition. But but specifically for goo, like if you think you need 200 packets of goo, and you go to the ORRC storage, you can only find
Actually,
50 of them.
we can't store the goo in the garage
You
anymore.
can't store there anymore? I thought we could still do that. I misunderstood. My mistake. I thought we could still store there.
The only liquid we have is the Gatorade that has not been opened.
In the box.
In the box.
Yes.
So.
But the goo packets.
No. No food
Can't
at
do
all.
that. I guess I misunderstood that. That is my mistake. So
pass from RD to RD.
well, I guess what we need to do is,
what happens to leftover food then? Does it go to someone's house?
Well, I'm just thinking of, I guess, as I will now officially declare myself to be the keeper of the goo. The goo keeper.
Yay.
I'm a goo keeper. Look at the monkeys. They're eating the goo. Okay, since we can no longer store the goo at the unit, let's do that. As VP of Race Operations, I will be the goo keeper, and I'll order a bunch. And so because there's shipping time, the whole bit. So if each RD would just be in the good habit of put on your checklist about a month before your race, call or email me and tell me, hey, I think I'm going to need 200 packets, and that will give me plenty of time to order more if more is needed. So RDs, put that on your list, is to get your order to me.
For Champoeg, it was 2 boxes that I think there were 24 per, so 48.
Yes, 24 per box. Yeah,
and I stored it at my house. So
okay,
just FYI.
Well, if you RD and you have your own goo, then just.
Well, I didn't order any new ones for 2025. This was for last year. So
sure, I hear you. Yeah, but like I said,
yep,
everyone can be a goo keeper. But if you don't want to store stuff at your house, I can store stuff in my house. I don't mind. Couple of quick things, and you probably most all know this already too, but just to remind you, we have a relationship with FitSok. So if you're into ordering socks for your races, you can get a custom style, colors, logos, the whole bit, and order them from FitSok. More lead time is better than less. I know for Best Time Run, they had to order them on short notice, but you save money on shipping and all that if you order early, figure like 3 months ahead of your event, to be sure you get the design you want and order the quantities you want. But remind you of that FitSok gives us a discount on that. And if you have any questions, contact me. I give you the contact for the person at FitSok to do that. Socks are a nice gimme because one size fits most, and everybody can always use a new pair of socks. I was cleaning my closet today, and I found enough shirts to clothe a small African village, perhaps a large African village, with t-shirts. So don't give me any more shirts, but socks on the other hand, give me more socks. I love a good sock.
So is there a master I don't know the answer to this, but is there a master vendor list that the organization works with where there's discounts and those point of contacts?
There is, yeah. In the, well, it's going to change into the what will become the policy and procedure manual.
Okay.
A part of that will be what is now the ORRC specific race director manual, because there's a
Okay.
generic race director manual and there's an ORRC specific one. The ORRC specific race director manual has the vendor list in it, including FitSok
Okay, great.
and porta potties, the whole bit. So speaking of vendors, the next one is Leslie Jordan. You are not by no means required to use Leslie Jordan as a vendor, but I would recommend them. Personally, I've been working with them for 10, 15 years now, a long time. They are all Leslie Jordan is also an RRCA sponsor. And if you've not yet done this, just do this. Call Mike at Leslie Jordan. Leslie Jordan is a woman's name, but it's also the name of her company, Leslie Jordan Apparel Company. But call up and say, can I talk to Mike? And make an appointment to meet Mike at the Leslie Jordan office in, come on, is it? I don't know. It's in a big city, in Portland somewhere, big city. But when you go to their office, it's also a warehouse where they have samples of everything they've ever made. You know, shirts and beanies and hats and socks. And they have like customizable flip-flops. I am looking to create a race for which it would be appropriate to give away flip-flops. I have not yet, unless we get back to doing a beach run again. But it's worth a trip because you make an appointment to meet one of the salespeople at Leslie Jordan. You go to their warehouse / office, and they will show you everything: the current fabrics, the new colors, what other races have done. If you're looking for ideas about what kind of swag can I give away, it's worth a trip because you'll get so many ideas from there. And pro tip, they give you free samples. Like, hey, I can't decide which style of hat to get. Well, here, take each one, and now you have free hats or shirts or whatever it is to help you decide which color, which style. So, but if you've not ever been to Leslie Jordan, make an appointment, stop on in. You'll be amazed at all the things you can do and give away.
I would also say I really like Leslie Jordan. The other company that we've used for a couple of things this year was Green Layer, and that's the one that the previous board had built a relationship with.
Yeah.
I happen to like Leslie Jordan stuff better than Green Layer stuff, but that's just personal preference. But Green Layer will also work with us for a lot of stuff, but I like Leslie Jordan stuff better.
Yeah. And that being said too, like for feel free to go local. I know Hagg Mud historically has gone, I forget the name of the company, but like some really customizable stuff. They've gone other places. Hagg Road.
Run.
Yeah. Hagg Road, I have gotten my t-shirts from Garment Graphics, well, since 1995. They're a small company in Hillsboro, and I still go there. I'm shopping local. And so as RDs, we recommend companies, but you're always welcome if you know somebody or you want to shop local, by all means, do that too. Find what you want, and you're not limited to Leslie Jordan and Green Layer, but they're recommended, but you're certainly free to look where you want for swag. Next, a change. For this year, Bonnie created for the aid station tubs, pre-filled tubs, and when you brought them back, get them refilled. And because Bonnie is moving out of state, she has undone that program. So basically, we're back to the way it was before. That is for aid station tubs. You have to build your own. You're going to go to the ORRC storage, get empty tubs, and fill them with whatever you want. They're not going to be pre-filled by Bonnie. That being said, Bonnie left, and I will pass on to everybody the list that she created. So it's like, I don't know what to put in there. You'll have Bonnie's list as a guide, and adapt it to your race. Whether it's a trail run or a road run, it'll be different. But you will Bonnie will no longer be filling the tubs, but you'll still have that information to know what to put in your tubs yourself. And I will, send that to everybody in the next couple of days, so you all have those lists. Something else I sent a while back, which was an incident report. I'll resend that too as part of the stuff I send. And I just adapted a form that I have from another group that I belong to, but it's not by any stretch a legal document, but it's the kind of thing where if something were to go wrong, to write down important information about what happened. Because in the moment of an emergency, your focus is on helping that person who is hurt or whatever. And the last thing you're thinking about, well, I better do the paperwork. And the incident report is a good thing because it, sometime when things are calmer, to sit down and go, okay, what happened today? What's the important information? God forbid that, it becomes a legal issue and all of that with the RRCA insurance and all that. But if it does become an issue, you will have some documentation for what happened, what happened, what steps you followed to make it right, and so on. So that's something else that I'll forward to you is the incident report. And you'll never have to use them because we have them. But that's a good thing to have just in case. Looking at my list here. One more little thing. We'll make it 2 parts. St. Mary's Academy is having an auction soon, and they have in the past, some races have provided a free race entry for them to auction. If you are interested and willing to do that, Tracy, should they tell you, right?
Yeah, just let me know if you want to do it and how many entries. Just 1 or 2 entries is fine. We don't need a whole ton of them. And we'll create certificates and send them to St. Mary's.
Okay. So if you're interested in that, and on that note, the St. Mary's Academy, of course, this happens I do it since I have multiple races. Well, like what I'll do at Ralph's Run, I'll give away a couple of free entries to the Vernonia Marathon, in part to promote the next race. And so this is something we also do as race directors. And all it takes is if you have multiple races, or if you want to talk to the RD of the race that's after yours, say, hey, can I give away a couple of free entries? And they'll usually say yes, and we'll create a code for it. But that is something to keep in mind. It's all about, promoting ORRC races, and, it's a nice raffle prize too. You give away, like, you go to Ralph's Run and you win a free entry to the Hagg Road or something like that. It's kind of a nice little, nice giveaway, and it's a nice promotional thing too. So feel free to ask and feel free to give entries to other race directors. Okay. And gosh, that's everything on my list.
Mark, quick question. What's the last race before Hagg Mud that if Deb and I decided to, Susie give away any Hagg Mud spots, what would be the last? Is it the Turkey Trot, or is there another one between?
Ralph's Run. Ralph's Run is in January. That's mine.
Awesome.
So,
thank you. It was the same areas.
And I think just looking at, since you're talking about that, real quick, I think if we could definitely connect Hagg Mud to Autumn Leaves, since those are our 2 trail runs.
I think that those 2 need to give entries to each other.
Yeah. And since Autumn Leaves has been away, Autumn Leaves has been away for a while. So definitely make that connection to people, a couple of free entries and cross promotion, the whole bit, because, those are we are a road running club, but we do have trail runs. And so let's, connect and celebrate both of our trail runs, that kind of thing. So y'all should talk to each other.
Deb, your RD for Autumn Leaves too?
Yes.
Okay. What's the date on that one?
It's October 18th for next year.
Okay. So Deb, talk to yourself.
Yeah.
But not this year. But not
no,
this year.
Put on your one hat, and then
it hasn't been run for about 3 years, Mark.
Okay. Well, if it's helpful to, collaborate on Hagg and that from a trail perspective, there's probably some efficiency there. So if I can be helpful in autumn leaves, count me in to support you there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're kind of a nice contrast too, because Hagg Mud is, well, it's muddy, and Champoeg Park is, you know, not muddy. And so you can do kind of a hate the mud, well, just stick around and try this other race, you know, kind of a thing. You know? Anyway.
Mark, I had a couple of just really, really quick ones.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, I'm done. My list is done, so go ahead.
The only, just a reminder that when you open up your registration, and I'm not sure if it's on Ultra Sign Up or not, but on RunSignUp, the default charity, we ask everybody if they want to, when they're registering for your event, they are also asked if they want to donate to ORRC Community Outreach Program, where we provide grants to different running programs. If you want to have a different charity, for example, Mark just had the board approve the charity for Race Run will be the Alzheimer's Association. And for Vernonia, it will be the State Parks of Oregon, or I forget which the exact one.
Yeah, Oregon State Parks, yeah.
So if you have a specific charity that you think would be more appropriate for your event, and it could be for Hagg Mud, for example, it could be trails or something like that, just let the board know, because the board just needs to approve it and make sure that the charity you're looking at also meets with the club's mission, things like that. And what we would do is change the default charity to your new charity. So that's just something to keep in mind if you want to do something like that. And then the other one is, Mark mentioned it, we're going to be doing a policies and procedures manual. And we have our bylaws, which is the club, that has to be, whenever that's changed, that has to be approved by the members. And we also have a generic race director handbook that we use at our race director workshop that can be used for any event, whether it's ORRC or not. And we're trying to create a policies and procedures manual, which would be for board members, race directors, and coordinators, just to kind of give instructions, brief instructions on how things work in the club. So how do you get reimbursed, or how do you manage your email account? Because everybody should be monitoring their email accounts, and you're all going to be assigned a club email, or, you know, so we're going to have a section for race directors, and we don't necessarily have a section for each individual race, but we definitely want something that is ORRC specific for our specific race directors, how they function within the club and how things work. So we would like you to think about your event and things that you need to know, so we can put that in the policies and procedures manual. And if you can get that by the end of October, if you have any ideas, to Julie and myself, we're kind of responsible for it. And what we'll do is we'll just keep updating that every year. We'll go out and ask, is this still accurate, and that type of thing. So we're just composing it now. We just wanted to make you all aware that there's going to be a race director section specifically for ORC. And then two minor things. Also, individual race instruction sheet. Daniel mentioned this at the board meeting earlier this month. Every race director, you might have the notebook for your event, that if something happened to you, you know how things work. Is it written down somewhere so it can be passed on to the next race director or co-RD, so that we're not losing knowledge? And that's the main thing we want, is we don't want to lose knowledge when people decide to leave. Last thing is the Caboose Award, Mark. I want to confirm, we're still going to do the Caboose Award for 2025. We're going to get ready to order that, have it ready for Ralph's Run. We have one award for each event for the last person on the course. So we're going to be doing that. And if we're going to add Best Damn Run back to the calendar, we need to make sure that's a separate order if we have to add it after the big group order for all the events. But
is there any cost difference if we do a big order and then do one more? Any cost difference?
They have to set it up again, so it's a little bit more expensive to order one versus 10.
They have to pay the setup fee again. So if we could make that decision sooner,
rather than later. I mean, we had to order a new one for Pumpkin Ridge because we changed the name. So, you know, it happens. It's not a big deal.
You can just take a Sharpie and go, and write the new name in.
No.
And you'll request, we did not have a Caboose Award for Duel because we thought it's a team. It's not really an individual, but we're going to create one for Duel because he requested the last person get it, the team.
So what happened to the Garlic Caboose Award.
We threw it away. We threw it away because nobody was going to
You
use it,
threw it away.
and we can't use the name anymore. So
But if you'd given it to me, I would have taken a Sharpie and put my name on it or something. Or, you know.
the only other thing I know that Bonnie ordered these before were the bibs that said my first 5K, my first 10K, my first half marathon.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those left, so we wanted to keep an eye on those too.
Okay, let me know, because I order them from Marathon Printing,
Okay.
and so the templates have been created. So it before Ralph's run, I'll check in, see if we need to order more and do so if needed, because Miss Marathon Printing, they can have stuff together pretty quickly, especially since the template is already done on those.
And if you want to check, if you were checking on the goo, if you want to just double check how much Gatorade we have, I don't know how many boxes are still left. I think we still have a lot, but just double check that.
Oh, a note on that too. Oh, thank you for that. Clicking something on my brain. It's too late now. I think that because it closed back, or maybe it's, I don't know. They changed the date once. How can I say? The RRCA has state, regional, and national championships. So this is like an extra set of awards that you can give to people. Like the RRCA, well, two things. One, the RRCA pays for these medals, so it's no additional cost to you. Like, for example, I forget this year. Well, no, it wasn't this year because I didn't. Last year, Vernonia Marathon was a state championship, and so I had an extra set of medals that I could give to people. Like, here's you finished first in your age group from ORRC, but here's a second medal because you were also the first, and get a second award from the RRCA as a state championship. And I'm not, because they changed the deadlines. If you're interested in doing this, go to the RRCA website, and you'll find more information there. If the deadlines have passed yet, I do not know. Generally, if the national championships fill up first, regional second, so it's possible there might still be some state championships open, down to a 10K kind of a thing. So if you're interested in doing that, look it out. The other thing, good reason for being declared an RRCA championship at any one of those three levels is you get free Gatorade. And at this point, I have applied for Vernonia to be a championship. It'll likely be one of those three. And so I expect that once they announce those championships, that we will also be getting a shipment of Gatorade. And for what it's worth, they are no longer doing the liquid. From here on in, they're giving a powder, which stores and ships better than having all those gallons of concentrated evil. So check that out. That sounds interesting to you as an RD from the RRCA.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Awesome.
Once again, I would say is I think we might. I think we might. I know I missed the recent board meeting. Maybe a new policy: no more marks. Just too many marks.
Oh, I get it.
A different name, or to me, like elementary school, would be Mark B, Mark F, Mark T. We'll just set the.
Welcome to
Deb's world.
Deb. Oh, have we reached the limit for Debs and Debbies yet?
No, we only have two, and I don't go by Debbie anymore. But people.
Oh, what? So,
the wrong
well, I
name.
heard somebody said DJ was there. Is that what you're going by now?
DJ? Oh, yeah. I think sometimes I forget it defaults to my home email, and so sometimes it's and I put DJ so that I reduce my spam. But it doesn't.
So what is your preferred name?
Me?
Yeah.
Deb.
Deb. So now we have two Debs on the board.
No, there's Debbie Hall. Debbie Hall.
Debbie.
I'm
I mixed up. I get it.
Officially, legally, I'm Deborah, but that's a mouthful.
Okay. So just to clarify, for my own sanity, Debbie is the treasurer.
Yes.
Deb is a race director. All right.
Your secretary.
And DJ, just forget that. That person does not exist.
No, you can call me DJ if you want. I don't mind.
Oh.
DJ B. Those are my
What does the J stand? What does the J stand for?
Jean.
Jean.
Deborah Jean. Oh, that sounds like a song.
No, it sounds like you're in trouble then if I use your full name.
Oh no. Deborah Jean. Well, not home anyway. Okay, sorry about that. Hey everybody, once again, thank you all for all of your hard work for this year. Like I said, I think it's been a successful year. Financially, we're breaking even, but I think more important than that, we are reestablishing that sense of community. And I think that is awesome. And we will just continue the good work through Turkey Trot, our last race of the year, and into next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mark.
Mark,
Thank you.
Mark Freese,
No.
do you think
Yes.
you can stay on for a second?
I can. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to just throw out to you what things you